Yes, Dr. Mike, even you are not immune to my coaching up. There can only be one form, Jedi. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Yes, today I am coaching up Dr. Mike. We're gonna go through some of his Instagram clips. I'm gonna break down a couple things that he's doing that he can optimize for himself, but more so for you. Guys, honestly, I literally messaged him on the weekend. I was like, yo, Doc, I'm gonna coach you up. He's like, you go right ahead. Because guess what? Everybody can use a little bit of coaching up. What I want you to understand, guys, if we wanna get a better overall muscle-mind connection, increase our overall muscle hypertrophy, I'm gonna use some of Doc Mike's videos to break it down for you guys and show you guys some of the things he's doing that he can probably change a little bit, but I understand this, guys, he's doing everything he's doing because he knows what he's doing. So let's just jump into it right now. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna check out his chest, tricep, and bicep day. I'm gonna go through his training and then go through, he posts his training log from the RP app. Make sure you guys get it, great app. And we're gonna break things down a bit. So first exercise, we have our machine chest press. And you can see how he's doing right now. He's emphasizing a lot of the stretch, which he normally does, and it's things that we emphasize all the time. But then there's that top part of the lift that he's not focusing as much on. Now again, primary focus on this is the stretch contraction for more muscle recruitment. But for you guys, what I want you to understand is when we're in a stretch position, and for the most part, when it comes to the grand scheme of you guys understanding how to train, first of all, it's understanding how to train properly in terms of form. And with that, right after, it's that muscle-mind connection, right? The muscle-mind connection and form kind of work together so you can actually feel the muscle that you're training. And to feel the muscle you're training, that means the form has to be at least pretty on point to keep it consistent. So down here when I'm training, he's on the machine, we'll use the machine. So yes, down here, a nice stretch. Now he's on the machine too, which gives him an even greater stretch, which is awesome. Down here is great, it's awesome. Good stretch from here. I can feel the stretch. But for the most part, people really can't feel the muscle until they're actually contracted at the top. When we're loading all the way down to the stretch, Mike's doing an unbelievable job in the stretch, and then exploding up with control, and then we have this kind of catching it on the way back down to the stretch. Doc Mike is emphasizing the stretch more than anything else. But for you guys, I always said this, if I want to feel the muscle more and we want to create more muscle tension, those first few inches coming down is key to loading the chest even more on the way down. So when we get down to this length and contraction, tension's at its highest. Right? Now, again, there's a few ways we can create tension. We can create tension literally by doing what he's doing, which is, getting down and then it's a here and then coming down and stretch, pop, and then it's coming down and then it's a stretch, it's a pop and coming down and it's a stretch. The longer he holds the stretch at the bottom, tension is increasing, right? The longer he holds it, lots of tension. Now for you, now understand this, Doc Mike is 240 pounds and he's 5'6.5". Gotcha, Mike. He's a big ass ball of muscle. His chest is already developed, and the more he works, it's gonna develop by small margins. For you guys who might just be starting or maybe in the middle of your fitness journey and you're lacking a chest, you really want to create tension by lowering the weight slowly, right from the top, controlling it. And you can train a little more like Mike and getting into those contractions mostly only. Now, a couple of things too when you're looking at his training, if we go to the end log of his workout, his first exercise is machine chest press, incline. He's using 220 pounds. The machine he's on is very hard, and he's got 10 reps. Now, I'm gonna assume that those are the max reps. His first set was 10, his second set was 7. So he's going pretty heavy. So he's going to focus primarily on that stretch. So getting it up and getting it down and stretching there, keeping that load on the chest is what he's doing. He's maximizing that based on the rep range. The higher the rep range and probably the less amount of weight, he's probably gonna control it a little bit more on the way down and still hold the contraction at the bottom. Do everything Mike's doing, absolutely everything the exact same, only when you're at the bottom, you're gonna be here just like Mike, nice stretch, and it's a nice, good contraction to the top, right? Squeeze for a second. We don't have to sit there for a minute. Just a quick second, and then controlling the weight down. Those first, as soon as my elbows break, as soon as my elbows do this, we're controlling the weight down. Nice pause and up, right? We want our reps to be around at least between 2 to 8 seconds. And if you're a beginner, I recommend making sure we milk that negative on the way down until you have a better overall understanding, muscle-mind connection, and your form is on point, and then we can start speeding it up. If there's one movement that I am very anal about, it's this one that Doc Mike's doing. Now, there's a couple things that he's doing that I know he knows exactly what he's doing, but for those people that are watching, there's things that I'm seeing just as an overall athlete and a coach that I would prefer to sharpen up. All right, so I'm gonna reenact Doc Mike. His feet are cut off a little bit, but we can see that he's really over top this way, his legs, his butt's pushed back, and his legs are almost like, they kind of look like they're locked out a little bit here, right? So we have this here, and he's really close, and he's riding it here, and he's up, and he's stretching, and then he's pushing down, he's coming back up, and it's a big stretch, and then it's a pushing down, it's coming back up, and it's a big stretch. Now, this is why it's important to understand that not everybody's gonna train the same, and you can't copy what everyone else does. You can take some positive things and then apply it to yourself, but when it comes to you, it's, especially beginners or even intermediate, having a good grounded base is gonna be your best friend when it comes to all movements. Because basically what we're doing is we're controlling our center of mass. So stance-wise, even though I have my weight over top of the bar that's giving me a lot more leverage so I can load this exercise pretty good, I feel very imbalanced. Like at any moment now, like if I increase the weight a little bit more or push a certain way, I'm gonna feel like off a bit. So from here, I just wanna sit down a bit, right? I wanna hinge into my butt. So if you look at, and then honestly guys, this is what I like to do. I like to make sure that my body positioning is in the most optimal way so I can maximize isolation on whatever muscle that I'm training, as well as creating the most amount of leverage so I can load the weight as well. So if I'm sitting like this, if you look at my knees, I'm sitting back a little bit while keeping my weight over top of the cable. My center of mass has changed and altered a bit so that your center of mass basically means that whatever I'm using, whether I'm using this machine or whatever, that I'm completely balanced. So I have control here, and I'm not necessarily relying on the weight here to keep me in, but I have balance from here. Here, I'm in a lot better position optimally to be able to sit on this top of this weight and control it even more, right? I can sit the weight out this way, right? If I do this, you can see how hard it is. My feet, my toes are coming up. I wanna sit here, keep it in, and I'm more locked in this way. Again, technique-wise, for you guys, Doc Mike is, again, he's got a good amount of weight, challenging weight that's here. He's not letting his shoulders, I want you guys to understand that his shoulders aren't doing this. He's doing an unreal job at getting his elbows back and like really stretching the triceps while keeping a lot of space from the ears to the shoulder. He's doing a great job, and he's letting it come up a bit and then pushing down, and then here, he's come up slightly and doing this. Again, we want to maximize tension right away. I want you guys to think of controlling the weight from here. It's down, right? And then slower on the way up. Stretch, and then. So when it comes to muscle-mind connection, I made this analogy all the time. If you are on a street and somebody just bolts past you and says, "Hey, what's going on?" and runs past you, you'll be like, you might remember something, maybe the color shirt, I don't know, right? But if that same person comes by and sits by you and sits and chats with you for like a minute, you're gonna remember a lot more than just maybe a shirt. You might remember the name, you might remember exactly what he's wearing, I don't know, it might be he or she, doesn't really matter. The point is, the longer that conversation goes, the more you start to remember. And that's the analogy I like to make when it comes to muscle-mind connection. The longer my tricep sits in that negative on the way up and stretching, the more your body's gonna connect and control. That's why I can go here and be really fast and still control the weight on the way up instead of going down fast and then having to catch it here and then coming on the way up. And that's what I sometimes assume people do when they watch advanced lifters like Doc Mike do techniques, and they try to copy that technique, not having a good base foundation of muscle-mind connection and form to start. So make sure we do that. All right, so this next exercise there's really nothing much for me to say on this, but just to explain to you guys how you can make it better for yourself. Like breaking down this movement for you guys with this exercise, because there's nothing I can pick from this. I can be like, yeah, you can have a little more control on the negative slower from the top, which is that's just nitpicking. But to give you guys a better idea of making this a good exercise for yourself, what he's doing is basically elevating himself. So again, if we do this on the ground, we can't get that good stretch. So awesome exercise. Again, if we do just regular push-ups and I want to get down, roll, well, guess what? There's zero stretch here. Yeah, you can do a push-up, but if you're trying to, build your chest and stretch the triceps, if you look at me now, there's nothing happening here, right? So I think an elevation is really good. Getting on the front of these from here, feet like a little bit shoulder width apart, chest up on the way down. Make sure the chest is staying up, or I would say close to the ground. So letting it kind of bow a little bit while continue to keep your core engaged, because I don't want this, and we also don't want your butt up like this. So you want to be in a perfect plank position. And then again, as soon as those elbows break, all right, you're falling over top. You're letting your chest go down first all the way, and then stretching at the bottom, tight core, and then pushing through your core back up. I recommend, again, Mike is doing more of a here stretch, then he's up, and then he's a little faster down. There's a big stretch here, it's up, and maxing it down, and you get a big stretch here. For you guys, same idea, but it's here. 3, hold that, up. Hold, up. We can say it's the end of the workout. We want to maximize the stretch and that's it. But again, you should be in a position where you can continue to keep a good negative at the end of the exercise. And if you can't keep a good negative at the end of the exercise with this exercise, then I would kind of assist it. Do some kind of assistance a little bit to help you on the way down, to make sure we're maximizing muscle hypertrophy with your negative. So even if it's like this and you're on the way down, you're stretched and you're I can't get up, fine, put yourself back to position here and just ride the negatives on the way down. Hold that stretch. I can't push yourself back up, great. Reload yourself, get yourself back up. Come all the way down, ride that negative, stretch at the bottom, you can't get back up, cool, reset yourself again. Until you're strong enough that you can do what Mike's doing at the end of his workout, I recommend, again, milking that negative. That's gonna help you get stronger through the entire full range. If you're missing some of that range, it's just like getting only strong within that range. And it's not a bad thing because you're getting strong in the deeper part of the stretch, which is good. But for the most part, for most people who don't get full range and they're not coming all the way down, that's why when they get all the way down, bad things happen. So this is the only thing I saw that was yo, Doc, I love your ingenuity and because I had to try this myself. I was like, let me try this and see if it's better than doing it the other way. So Doc Mike, we're here like this, and we're in a position where we have a crazy stretch in the bicep. I also got a mad stretch in my shoulder as well too, not that comfortable. But he's also pulling it here. And I was like, let me try it myself and see if he's, if there's tension. Unfortunately from here, there's not much tension at all. From here, there's not much, right? And I get it again, he's emphasizing the heck out of this part down here. So it's here and then it's down and there's a massive stretch, right? And I get that, but for me guys, you know me, I'm yo, stick to the basics on this one. I don't think you needed to reinvent the incline dumbbell wheel, because you can literally just do it this way. I'm gonna get a great stretch from here And even when I get to here, there's still tension on my bicep, right? The way he was doing it when he's at the peak position here, and maybe I'm doing it wrong, I don't know. But there wasn't much tension here. And there's still tension here. Why? Because we're on an incline. And remember, because we're using dumbbells or free weights, gravity is only gonna go that way. So if I'm on an angle, I'm on an incline, I'm sitting back like this, my chest is up, my head's right back, I have a nasty stretch of my biceps, a great stretch. It feels a lot more comfortable than the other way. And then when I curl up, even when I get here, because I don't have to come all up here because there's zero tension here, if I just bend at the elbows and just flex to here, there's still tension on my bicep in the concentric or the positive contraction, the peak contraction, the squeeze. And then I want to ride it slow on the way down and then stretch from here and then squeeze on the way up. I find a lot when it comes to biceps and triceps, it's like finding a weight that you can sit in a nice stretch and then flex up and control it up, squeeze, and then holding it on the way down and squeeze on the way down. And we don't have to use a massive heavy weight. We just need to find a weight that's gonna get us in that nice stretch position, creating a lot of tension at the stretch, and then keeping tension on the way up, and then controlling the weight on the way down. Doing it this way, for this exercise, he is on the way down, stretching from here, controlling it up, and then controlling it down. So he's being a lot more conscious of that negative load right from the peak contraction. But again, this way for me is just overall better. That'd be the only exercise I found in this. I was like, oh, maybe not. Let's just stick to the basics on that. But again, you gotta give it a try. You gotta try it before you knock it. And I tried it, and Doc Mike, I'm knocking it. Other than that, hope you guys got some good, valuable jewels in this. Again, if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, I don't care how long you've been training, if you haven't been emphasizing the peak contraction and riding the negative from the peak contraction, I strongly suggest that you just give it a try and see how much more tension or how much more of a pump or lactic acid build you're gonna get into whatever muscle group that you're training. Control the first 3 inches up and the first 3 inches down on the way into that negative or the positive, and reap the rewards of massive amounts of lactic acid, pumped muscles, and then watch them grow. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. You know the comment that tell it is transparent, wrong with the truth. And guys, hit the description below for those discount codes and promo codes that will save life or change life for the better. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Send me your progress pics, your training pics, and your video clips that I repost for you, because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing and enjoy these bloopers. How's this look? Yes, do I say yes? Yes, Dr. Mike. Even you are not immune to my form. I can't. What the fuck? Those look like. I don't know what they look like right now, but they don't feel good. Even you are not immune to my coaching up. Even you are not immune to my coaching up. Even you are not immune to my coaching up.